Hi, everyone. Welcome to P&P Live. I am Brittany Kerfoot, the Deputy Director of Events at Politics and Prose, and I am so excited for you all to spend your Saturday night with us, our friends at Girls Night In, and our two fabulous speakers tonight. I could not think of a better way to spend a Saturday in quarantine. It's very fitting that we're meeting tonight because not only is it DC Small Business Saturday, it is also Virtual Independent Bookstore Day. And as an indie bookstore ourselves, we feel so lucky that our customers have been keeping us afloat in these insane times. And we just want to thank all of you for your amazing support. And on that note, at any time during the event, you can click on the green button below to purchase tonight's book on P&P's website. And while I know that all of you already ordered your copy of Wow, No Thank You, there is no harm in buying another one for your friend. Mother's Day is coming up, maybe your sister who needs a laugh. And we also have $5 shipping on all orders right now, no matter what you add to your cart. So feel free to stock up on any other quarantine reads. You can also ask the author a question by clicking the Ask a Question button, also at the bottom of your screen. And you can read other people's questions and even vote for the ones that you would like to hear answered the most. And as a way to celebrate Virtual Independent Bookstore Day, we are hosting a giveaway for 2 tickets to our virtual event with Elaine Welteroth in conversation with Melody Asani, happening this Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So whoever asks the question that gets the most votes tonight will get tickets for them and a friend of their choice to hear Elaine Welteroth on Tuesday. So make sure your questions are really, really good. We also hope you'll answer our very serious poll down at the bottom of your screen, and we will reveal the very serious results at the end of the event. So feel free to check that out and answer that anytime during the event. Finally, we want to thank Girls Night In for partnering with us on this event, especially because Wow No Thank You is their April book club pick. So we'll be partnering with them on many more events coming up together. So check the calendar on our website so you can see all the amazing stuff we have coming up. All right, that's all my housekeeping. So let's get on to tonight's event. Samantha Irby is an author, comedian, and owner of the blog Bitches Gotta Eat. She had 3 previous books, New Year, Same Trash, Meade, and We Are Never Meeting in Real Life. And they're all hilarious, and you need to get all 3 of them if you don't have them already. In conversation with Irby tonight is Maris Kreizman, writer, critic, and host of The Maris Review, a literary podcast from LitHub. So now it is my absolute pleasure to welcome Sam Irby and Maris Kreizman onto your screens. Woo! Hey guys!
Woo! Hi!
Hi!
Hi, everybody watching.
So
I put on my finest sweatshirt for you.
but
Maris, you actually look cute. It's making me feel like an asshole.
I'm not going to stand up and show you what's on the bottom. So
okay, good deal. I won't show you what I'm wearing either, but you could probably guess it's like gross yoga.
I mean, we know, but you look great on top, so that's all that matters.
Thank you. Thank you.
So do you want to read to us first?
Yeah. Yes, I will. I'm going to read. So for those of you who don't have the book, what were you waiting for? No, I'm just kidding. You're waiting for this. All of my chapters are very long because I have too many words inside me that I have to get out. But one of the chapters I took advice questions from like Dear Abby and magazines and stuff like that, and I answered them because I'm qualified to do that. So I'm going to read you a couple of the questions and a couple of my answers. Okay, so this chapter is called Love and Marriage. I got married, and now I am an expert on marriage and relationships, obviously. Here are the answers you so desperately need to your desperate questions. Question: my wife and I are dear friends with a younger couple. They both have busy careers and text and email incessantly for work. Recently, the 4 of us dined out at a wonderful country inn, and they texted throughout the meal. I care very much about my relationship with them and do not wish to offend them but this behavior bothered me. How can I nicely ask them to put their smartphones away? And here is my answer. Everything is boring. You're boring. There's a 95% chance your wife is pretty boring. And going to a wonderful country inn is probably, definitely, totally fucking boring. I'm boring too. This is something that I've had to come to terms with as I'm wearing middle height in its sensible orthopedic inserts. I have tried, nope, sorry. I have to get over myself and let go of young person shit irritating to me. If I'm too old for it, I don't give a shit about it. And that's not to say that it shouldn't exist, which is an old person thing I really don't understand. Jesus God, the stuff kids are into is literally too exhausting to get pissed off about. Who cares? Let them do whatever they want. My lady and I aren't friends with any young couples because I don't want to have to learn what the fuck no cap means. I want to eat my sensibly balanced meals and spend my days listening to jangly guitar music that came out in the years before I graduated high school. There are two types of awful old people. There are one, the silently awful, who grind their rear molars into stumps and pray for sudden death as some teenager tries to record them for their story. And two, the put your phone away, young lady, and pretend to be interested in this New York Times article about charter schools I am misquoting awful. My favorite thing is to spend my old person money on expensive electronics for the babies in my life because I will actually die if I have to figure out interesting things to say to a Gen Zer that might make them think I'm not as cool as my tattoos. How do I say tattoo in a cool way? Ink, body art would lead them to believe. And they most certainly don't care about listening to all my ancient leisure activities. What the fuck do I even talk about all day? 1099s and full coverage underpants? Like, for real, who even cares? Just point me toward the sun and water me occasionally. I can't tell you about the first time I thought I was in love. Yes, I can. It was Will Wheaton on Star Trek: The Next Generation, and it was devastating. But I can tell you, each and every time some adult tried to bully me into a conversation about low interest rates or whatever seniors with rain-indicating knees and hip problems talk about, while I plucked out my eyelashes one by one in despair. I don't want to sit at the kids' table because, truth be told, I can't sit with my legs at a 90-degree angle for more than 45 minutes. But if they sit at mine, I need to know that these dudes are for sure texting the entire time while pretending they care about that foreign film I saw at 11:30 Sunday morning. Whether I like it or not, and despite my having neither a mortgage nor a dedicated gynecologist, as the bitch with the Sepira, I am absolutely going to be stuck paying for that wonderful country meal. Question. I've been living with a man for more than a year. We get along perfectly, and he says he loves me. The problem is he will not make a commitment to get married. I do everything a wife would do to make a comfortable home for us. I am approaching middle age, and I want the security of marriage. Should I wait for him, hoping he will change his mind? Or should I move on and find someone who would like to make a commitment? Answer. What does get along perfectly mean if there's a big glaring blockade like I want to get married and he doesn't in the way? Why do people willfully ignore these giant logs scattered across their roads to domesticated bliss? Oh, I know, sex. But seriously, though, why? I feel like just reframing how you see your relationship would shift your entire perspective. What if you just said, he says he loves me, but the problem is he won't commit and I need that. Then you're done, right? You can easily walk away. I have been accused of being unromantic, but this isn't that, I promise. I have often listened to the words a person I was in love with said to me and ignored what they actually meant to instead project onto them what I wanted it to mean. That shit will keep you in a weird emotional death spiral for the rest of your relationship until you shake yourself out of it, and you don't deserve that. I know that self-delusion can feel protective, but ultimately, you're going to do what we all do at some point. Cycle through all that old shit he said and all those red flags you ignored while chuckling softly at your naivete. You believed you could change a person who was telling you exactly what they didn't want, and now the reality is setting in that you can't. Don't feel dumb. It happens to the best of us. It's happened to me 200 times. There are dozens of anecdotes to illustrate this in my own interpersonal relationship canon, but the first is always the worst. My first real relationship at 21 was with a man 10 years older. We met at a house party where he was, of fucking course, the DJ. I didn't know anyone except the friend who'd brought me along, and I hovered in the kitchen like a creep, watching other people have fun. To this day, that is my preferred approach to partying. Anyway, later in the evening, the DJ came over and pointed out that I didn't look like I was having a good time. And in a panic to prove him wrong, I drank a tumbler of gin in one gulp and went home with him. Other stuff happened also, but you get my point. This morning, when he dropped me off, he said very specifically, "This was fun. I'll call you. I don't want to get into anything serious," and pulled off in a haze of SUV exhaust before I could even close the passenger side door all the way. I proceeded to spend an entire calendar year convinced I was in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship with a not serious person who then did everything he could to prove that he was even less serious about me than he'd initially warned. I couldn't be mad at anyone but myself when it finally dawned on me what an idiot I was being. Okay, yes, I was bitter and I blamed him too, but this is not the time to deconstruct my immaturity. My problem was that I had hoped I could do enough stuff to convince him I was worth his undivided attention. I mean, I wasn't doing wife stuff like you are, but I was making him cool mixed teas and lathering myself in the finest Bath and Body Works scented lotions before he came over for sex. So yeah, pick up what he's putting down. He's probably not your future husband, and that's okay. Also, what does a wife do? You know what my wife does? Asks me 3 times in a row if I've emailed the HVAC company yet, and moves my shoes to places where I can't find them and then calls that cleaning. If that's what you're doing, I understand his hesitation. I'm kidding. Anyway, he's not a bus. Stop waiting for him. Catch the next one. Do you want me to read some more? Okay. Oh,
that
nice.
was perfect.
Okay, good.
Thank
My
you.
wife's probably in the other room making a voodoo doll of me after reading that shit. People. Oh, I can hear her cackling. She's like, "Yep, sticking the pin right in your gallbladder."
Sam, tell me how your quarantine is going. How are you? What are you doing?
I am okay. I don't mind being at home. I especially don't mind, so I was supposed to be on tour and this was supposed to be happening like in DC with a room full of people. And if I could teleport to places, I would love it because I love the hugging and I love the seeing people and all of that stuff. And I love to feel the energy, but I hate traveling. I hate the airport. I don't even hate the airport. I hate the low level panic that traveling requires.
Yeah.
The one thing that sucks is this year I finally got TSA, or last year I finally got TSA pre-check because I was like, I got to go on tour. I'm not staying I'm not taking off my fucking shoes. I'm good. And then Corona was like, sorry, you got to stay home. So quarantine is okay. And I feel bad saying that because I know lots of people are like going stir crazy and whatever, but I don't mind not leaving. And I don't mind. The thing about like book tour is we don't often talk about as authors or whatever, how you're just dragging dirty clothes around the country and like hoping people don't notice that, you know, the thing you wore in Tennessee is the same thing you're wearing in Minnesota, and you're hoping it ain't too bad. So I don't miss that. But I do feel bad because everyone else is like, I wish I could take a walk. And I'm like, not me. I'm like, this recycled old air, perfect. I love it.
So I want to hear kind of like everything you're doing during a regular day in quarantine. Like, what are you eating? What are you watching, listening to?
So I am, okay. One thing I'm doing, which I feel like I have to mention because a lot of people know about it, is I write this newsletter about Judge Mathis.
Sure do.
So I am watching a lot of Judge Mathis every day to get this newsletter out. So that's one thing I'm watching that's not that exciting. I watched Ozark, which, man, Jason Bateman, I'd risk it all. Even though he seems like he'd be like not a good like boyfriend partner person.
I feel like the Arrested Development, like backstage stuff seemed like, ugh. But
and he's so dry, and like dry people are great theoretically and like on TV, but when you're around someone who's like real dry, it's like, do you hate me? So I watched Ozark. What else? Oh, last night I just watched all 3 episodes of Defending Jacob, that new Chris Evans show. So good. But it could just be that his face is so good. And I'm like, that face, so good. Watching a lot of Drag Race, which is my absolute favorite. That could be on every day and I would watch it every day. I'm trying to read books.
Yeah.
I don't read when I'm writing. Like I can't. One, because I get like intimidated. I'm like, oh man, these people are so good. What am I doing? And then the other part of it is, especially if I'm reading like someone's essays, I feel like I start to mimic their style a little bit, and I'm like, I gotta put this away because I'm starting to not sound like myself when I write. So like as soon as like the book stuff is finished and I'm like promoting it, then I really start reading other things. And I just read this book that you probably have read or have, Luster.
Oh my God.
Lonnie, that's coming out this summer. I just read that.
It's excruciating in the very best way.
I wish it was out now, and like we don't have to get into this, but what's happening with people's like pub dates and all that stuff is like really like scary and terrible, and I hope that people can recover. But I also read The Herd, which is out, by Andrea Bartz.
That's one.
So good. Her first book was good as hell. So good. People should read that. What else?
And Sam, you used to have a job where, like me, you have to read, what is it, like 6 books a month and write about them?
Yeah, I was doing, so I don't even know how they found out about me to ask me to do this, but for Marie Claire, I would do like their little roundup, and they weren't reviews because they definitely didn't want me to say anything negative, and super, super, super short. And so they'd be like, here, read, you have 2 weeks, read 6 books. And I'd be like, I have 2 weeks, I'm going to read what I can of 6 books, and then you're going to get a loose overview of what I think the rest of the book is about. That's stressful. I would never do that again. I don't know how people write about books. I would never.
The thesaurus is really
it's hard. I also like the Goodreads of it all. I don't even want to I want to give everything 5 stars and just tell people to read it and make it feels like too much pressure. Also, what do I know about what makes a book good? I know what I like to read, but I don't know if that's good for other people. So that job was super stressful, and I'm glad I don't have to do it anymore. Although they're probably you didn't do that great of a job, that's why you don't do it anymore. But
I cannot imagine that's true. Tell us about other jobs you used to do. For instance,
yes,
we would love to hear, I'm sure, about Shrill and what it's like to be in the writer's room there.
It was, so full disclosure for people who don't know, Lindy and I are very close friends, and we have the same TV agent. And we were selling shows at the same time. So we were kind of always talking about what was going on. What were they like at Amazon, or who did you talk to at HBO? We kind of were with each other for the whole process. And when her show got picked up, I was in Chicago on a book tour for the re-release of Meade. And I got a call. I was in a cab on my way from Union Station, and I got a call, and it was our agent. And he was like, so Lindy's show got picked up. Will you, if she wants you to work on it, if we can work it out, will you? And I was like, yes, cancel everything else in my life. I will go wherever and do whatever. So when I finally got out there, and keep in mind, I had no TV experience other than trying to, I'd written my own pilot, but that's very different. It's the same as writing a book. It's just me alone, crying at 2 in the morning, eating gluten-free crackers. And so the writer's room experience is very different because it's extremely collaborative, right? You're in the room with, I don't remember how many people, 6 people, 8 people, something like that. And the first day I got there, I was super intimidated. And Hollywood kind of feels like everybody knows each other. And if you are not a person that people know, no one is rude. This is the Hollywood trap.
Right.
No one's rude to you, right? Because they don't know. You might be somebody who could eventually give them a job. So no one is ever straight up rude, which I appreciate. I love for people to be nice to me, even if it's fake. I'm yes. Oh, you love me? You just met me? Sure. Yes, please tell me. So going into the room, it was no one is mean to me, but also I don't really know anybody here except for Lindy. And I didn't want to be Lindy, please protect me. But once you get over the first day kind of jitters of getting to know people, it was relaxed and fun. I love to just be riffing and joking all the time. And it truly is just people doing bits all day and seeing what sticks with the story. So it's everyone just trying to make each other laugh. And we sort of had an arc of the season and what we wanted to have happen. And then truly you just kind of throw bits at each other all day. And then it's oh, well, we can use that, or okay, that fits here and that fits there. And we had such a short time. We had to write the whole season in 6 weeks. And it was both super high pressure, but also I always turn in my books late. So I have been under that kind of pressure before where it's oh girl, you have 3 weeks to write 4 chapters. And by that, I mean 8 chapters. Get going. So that part wasn't stressful at all. The most stressful thing to me was feeling an out of place kind of Midwestern, very earnest potato person in people who were like, fluent in the Hollywood language.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be. I want to keep being a potato and also like occasionally making a Hollywood thing with non-potato people, or just drag all of my potato people along so we can make some earnest Midwestern comedy shows. We'll see.
Bring the carbs to LA.
Yes. Let me tell you, I mean, I know that, first of all, LA is filled with so many bakeries and pizza places.
Donuts.
Like, it's not the stars eating them, but someone there is eating carbohydrates. And I was like, well, if I have to take one for the team and it has to be me, and I have to keep these places in business, then yes, I will eat all of the Los Angeles rice. I can do that for you. Great. I mean, it was great. I mean, I know that there are people who are like, I drink 1 green juice and eat 2 almonds a day, and that's cool for them. But I got to LA and was like, pizza every meal, tacos for dessert. Okay.
Yeah.
And Lindy and I lived together. I mean, our house was just like salt and straw ice cream and takeout from Guisados. It was an incredible.
Sounds like heaven.
It was really.
Why haven't you done a Grub Street Diary yet?
Well, we're gonna have to ask someone at Grub Street. I would, although I'd have to do it when I'm like in Chicago or somewhere else, because here it would be like things that Kirsten grew in the garden that we then cooked and ate, and nobody wants to read that. I mean, also, I'm afraid that if I did one, it would never be as good as Alyssa Nutting's, which is perfect writing. And so, like, I'm like, I can't embarrass myself. But if they asked me, I would do it.
I mean, and you, like Alyssa, have this reverse curation energy where you just want to kind of bring everyone down a little bit.
Yes. So I enjoy like reading people's aspirational stuff, and I get really like, wow, look at their life. It's so great and so exciting. But then when talking about my own regular shit, I'm like, well, I can't fake it, because if you were ever going to meet me, I would dispel whatever, facade I'd put up right away. If I was like, I'm really classy and I love refined things. And the first time you met me, I like had a Hot Pocket in my bag, like a hot one just waiting for me to eat it. You'd be like, refined, huh? So then I just have to tell the truth and be like, yes, my Grub Street would be hot dogs over the sink, $47 worth of Taco Bell, ice cream. I mean, we just got, this is so bad, but I can admit this to you and the 200 people watching. We just got a shipment of ice cream from Jenny's.
Oh, yeah. And
part of me was like, 6 ice creams, huh? But then the other part of me was like, we're supporting a small business.
Anything you can do right now to support a small business.
However I can justify being a sloth person who loves sugar, I'll figure out a way.
And also, while we're on this topic of curation, tell me a little bit about personal grooming. And has that changed from your chapter on the book now that you are in quarantine?
Let me tell you. So my hair is not usually this long. I didn't grow all this since the lockdown, but I went to work in Chicago on the Showtime show Work in Progress. I wrote for season 2. And before I left, I was like, it was like the end of January. I was like, I should go get a haircut. And then I didn't like want to find a barber there and blah, blah, blah. So my hair is at a length where it must be dealt with and have product put in it, which I do not enjoy, which is why I usually shave it off. It's looking okay. It's looking okay. But I do have to do stuff. I might keep it. I might keep the quarantine hair, maybe to mark this period of time, at least long enough to get some new headshots so people can see how gray my hair is. But I do shower every day.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I have the body now I'm going to disgust everyone. I have the kind of body that like there's too much happening on my scalp and in my butt that like it must be cleansed once a day. I can't get away even to my own nose. Like I can't get away with really letting it go. You look very nice. How is your quarantine grooming?
I put on some lipstick for the first time in a little while, and sparkly things on top, and then my old pair of sweatpants on the bottom, and it's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's this like just getting this together to see people, the dream. It's like, it's like I don't mind just getting my head ready.
Your head could be ready in like
That's a double entendre. I don't mind just doing this. This I can do, but then when I have to like get the rest of it together, sorry, I thought I saw someone outside. When I have to get the rest of it together, that's when it's like, oh, this is insurmountable. I can't do this. But if it's like, Sam, you got a Zoom call in 20 minutes, it's like, okay, I can pinch my cheeks and like something in my hair. So I have been doing at least the washing, not much else. And like moisturizing, but not much else. I wasn't doing much before though. Like there's no shade. there's not a whole lot.
Sam, I have to change topics because I need to know about this. What is your opinion on the new Fiona Apple album?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, how did I not say that when I was listing my quarantine activities? First of all, the new Waxahachie album.
Oh, it's so good.
Give me a fucking break. It's so good. It's so good. Whatever this new like Americana country thing she's doing, into it. I love the new record. I feel like acute pain when there is something about her voice, or maybe the fact that like I think I was 17 or 18 when Tidal came out.
Same.
And when you have been on that journey with someone for so long, it just, and her voice now is like so raw. It just is really like a knife to the gut. My favorite song, they're all good, but my favorite one is Drum Set.
Yeah.
And how could you take it all away, like that line? And I was just, there's something about her voice when she sang that is just like, oh my God, I can't, where has she been? And then I immediately like had a panic because this means it's going to be like another 8 years before we get new music from her. And so I'm trying not to think about that part and just listen to it, but it's so good.
It's so good.
I love her.
She's great. Tell me a little bit about how your friend Abby Jacobson is doing.
Abby is doing great. Actually, I haven't talked to her in a minute. Last I heard, she was quarantining in LA with her little dog, Desi, who's like so cute. Abby is great. Abby has like shifted to this like new producer role, and she's got lots of projects. She's producing and starring in A League of Their Own. They're making an adaptation for TV on Amazon. And she also is producing my show, which we're doing at Comedy Central. So this news is new. It's not new, but it came after I had turned in the essay to be published. But we got a pilot pickup, which means that the 71st iteration of this pilot that I have written across several television works and under the direction of many different people, they want to shoot it. So before Corona, the plan, we had just started to pick out casting agents, and the plan was that we were going to shoot it in Chicago this summer. That is not going to happen, probably, at least not this summer. So then we have to figure out like when we're going to shoot it. But at some point, we're going to shoot a pilot, and you're going to see some baby version of Samantha Irby running wild in the streets of Chicago.
I can't wait.
I mean, the pilot is bonkers. It's like I love a hard comedy. Like, I don't really need to see people like falling or being hit with things, but I love a joke after joke after joke. And so the pilot is very much that. There is one entire scene of vomiting. There's a diarrhea scene. There's
everything we'd hope from you.
A car crash. I mean, it's really me. Like, if you get to see it, you're gonna see it and be like, man, I can't believe they let this dumb bitch make a show, because it's so me that you're gonna. I mean, there's one sex scene. It kicks off with a sex scene. It really is. I'll send you the pilot if you want to read it. Not all of you. I'm so sorry, but read it.
Read about it, maybe. Sam, are your cats gonna come out and make an appearance or no?
I don't. Kirsten, do you have any cats? No, they're all hiding. They knew that I promised to show one of them to you. This morning, they truly sound like people when they're fighting. First of all, there's too many of them. We have 4. It's very Lilith Fair up in here with the female and the many cats. And they were tumbling down the stairs, fighting with each other. And I was like, oh, great. Tire yourselves out. And then later, I'm going to hold you up to the camera. And now they know. They know. They heard me say, come meet my friends. Come meet my virtual friends. And they were like, bye. So if one walks by, I will embarrass myself and snatch them up and hold them up to the camera.
I like that. In a couple of minutes, we're going to start taking questions from the bottom of the screen, that ask a question section. So make sure that if you have a burning question for Sam, now is the time.
Better be good. We're tracing all the questions, so if they're not good, I'm coming to your house.
Shall we see what we have?
Yeah. I won't look, so it'll be a surprise.
Ooh, I like this. What was your favorite book when you were 18?
Probably the bleak choice, but I read this so many times that I can't say it. Bastard Out of Carolina. Read it because Dorothy Allison is amazing, but in quarantine is not the time. It's fucking depressing. But I had a weird and bad childhood, and identified with Bone, the main character, who also had like kind of a bleak and terrible childhood. I loved that book. I loved it so much. And then so that's my smart answer, but let's be real and say, maybe not at 18, but I definitely read every single Sweet Valley High book a dozen times. I mean, so in terms of sheer volume, Sweet Valley Twins and High and Babysitter's Club, honorable mention.
My parents still have my Sweet Valley High collection in their home.
I think about that more often than I'm comfortable admitting. Why I said it. And one day, if we are ever freed from our home prisons, I am coming to your parents' house.
Yeah.
I'm going to hang out for a few days. And
you are welcome.
Guys. Okay. Now, when I show up and your mom is like, who is this? Don't act like you didn't tell me.
Oh, she's going to hug you and kiss you. And like, it's
great.
It'll be a lot.
That's all I ever want.
Sam, this question I think is from Madeline. She says, one of my favorite essays of yours is about The Bachelor. Are you watching Listen to Your Heart, and is it worth her time?
I'm not. I can't do the spinoffs. First of all, I can barely do the main Bachelor and Bachelorette. Like, those are painful. Now, here's why they're okay. Sam, they always get way too deep on something very dumb, but you can see the hand of the producer in these most recent seasons, and I'm under no illusion that reality shows are real. But I hate to see when the producers are like too heavy-handed, and like when they had old girl Victoria's ex-boyfriend serenading her and The Bachelor, it was like, come on. So I can barely stick with it through the regular seasons. I refuse to watch Bachelor in Paradise or even find out what Listen to Your Heart is, which if it's like singing or karaoke, I will die. So I know there's a singing element, but I refuse to investigate further. Can't do it.
Amazing.
So no, don't watch it.
Let's see. What 3 things do you need on your desk to start writing? This question's from Laura Zornosa.
It's very nice that you think I sit at a desk when I'm writing. What I need on the table next to my soft chair that I balance a pillowcase on my lap to write on, I need a Diet Coke. I need some sort of peanut butter product. And I am a big note taker. Like, I like a handwritten note. I know lots of people use like Scrivener and all these kind of like really like formal things to keep notes. But here's one on the dining room table where I'm sitting, these Pilot G2, and they have to be the 10 because I like an inky pen. So that, these and a notebook so I can take notes. Those are my 3 things.
That sounds legit.
Yeah. It doesn't feel, it's not as organized, and I have notes everywhere. It'll be like the back of a water bill, and it's like, oh, what's that writing on it? And it's like, oh, Sam's plan for her novel. And then it's like, don't, she wrote it on the back of garbage. Keep that safe.
Here's a 2-fold question from Morgan O'Hanlon. Has getting married changed the way you write? And how do you walk the line between what you keep private and what you disclose in your books?
Oh, that's good. Well, I would say that getting married has made, it hasn't changed like, the sitting down and approaching an essay of it all. It hasn't changed that. But it has limited, like, I like to write a lot about like going out and trying to get fucked, and I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So it has changed that, and the option of like, it's sort of like cut off this sounds so negative. I don't mean it negatively, but like that, the Sex and the City of it all, right? Like the writing about going out on dates and meeting people, like that is shut off to me now. So I have to be more inventive and try to make some of the mundanities of marriage listen, maybe my dating stuff wasn't that exciting before, but I just am like, I don't have that option now. And I also have to think about, so my wife tweeted at me, which is how we met, because she read Meade, and she tweeted at me that she loved it. And then I seduced her 140 characters at a time.
Yes.
Yeah, I should write a book about that. So she knew what she was getting into, but I still like want to be respectful. I don't ever want, and I don't let her read the majority of my stuff before I turn it in. Like she gets to read first pass, which is essentially like they say you can change things, but I think if I ever reached out to my editor and was like, take that out after first pass, like murder me in cold blood. So she gets to read things like before the public reads them, but after I've decided that it's done and I've turned it in. And I don't think I ever say anything that is disrespectful. I do exaggerate her, like some of her qualities. Like she's less kombucha drinking than Christine, but no, it's not. Yesterday she was talking to me about the lettuces she planted, which first of all, who cares? But also she's a person who like plants lettuces like in our actual yard. I'm not eating shit that came out of the ground behind my house. She does grow things. Did I answer the second part? What was even the second part? I got lost in the lettuce.
I think that the lettuce was the second part. How much you reveal.
Oh, yeah. I don't ever write specifically about her kids because I think it's like my worst nightmare 10 years from now for one of the kids to be like, so that time you wrote about my period really scarred me. So I try to leave them out of it because they don't belong to me. But it's pretty fair game. She knows any dumbass thing she does, if I see it, is going in.
Let's dig in here.
Okay.
Oh, who is the funniest person you know and why?
The funniest person I know personally? Or like, should I pick someone I know or like a comedian that I like?
Why not both? Okay.
The funniest person I know. Okay, so this is, okay, yeah, this is going to be my answer. So I just worked on that show, Work in Progress, and Abby McEnany is the star of it. And she is so funny, both on the show, but as a person. And I don't generally love an improv person. Being from Chicago, man, they're everywhere. Yeah. And they're always like sneaking into, like, Chicago has a big live lit scene, which is basically like storytelling with a fancier name. They're always sneaking in and doing their bits and shit. And I'm like, ugh. But she's an improv person, and she just in real life is so fast and so funny, and she is great. So that's both my who I know and a comedy person who's very funny. Watch her show. It's bananas. It's so funny, and she's so funny.
Yay. Do you know when it's coming out?
Well, so the first season is out.
Right.
It's like 6 or 8 episodes. And the second season we wrote and was supposed to shoot this summer.
All right. So
We'll see. But hopefully, I mean, who knows? If I trust science, if there's a vaccine soon and we can all leave and be on the streets of Chicago, like filming this gay, hilarious show, then everything will be according to schedule and you'll get to see it next week.
From your lips, Sam.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, here comes, here, come here, booty.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. No.
Good try.
No. I tried. He's gone. He was like, no way. He just came in from outside and he's like, oh, you want to touch me? No, I don't trust you. I'm sorry, guys. I tried.
That's so funny. Do you hear from Helen Keller's, the cat, not the woman, spirit in your life? And what does she tell you if you do? That's a great question from Joy.
Well, I thought we had a Helen-shaped ghost for a while. Like there was like a little dark, menacing spirit around the house. And now we've filled the house with so many cats, I can't tell if it's an actual cat or a ghost cat. But I feel like every time one of these cats, like this one who just rejected me, or when they like bite me or run away from me, I feel like that's Helen, like, you know, Geppettoing the strings of the other cats. So yes, yeah. Anytime these cats are bad, I'm like, Helen.
Sam, before, when we were talking about your cats before, people have asked if you would tell us all of their names.
Oh my God. I would do a whole 2 hours on each one of their different personalities. So the one who just ran away from me is Booty. Sorry, but his name is Booty. There's one that's black and white whose name is Coco. Jackie Brown is the replacement I got for Helen, who's awful, the absolute worst. I hate her so much. She's like a little tortie. She's very like, she's skinny, but also has a pot belly. She looks evil. And then our new cat is named Carrots, she's the sweetest and the cutest. And she's like fuzzy and white. I wish they would show up, but
next time
to make me look like an asshole. So yeah, that's it. And maybe we'll get a dog one day, but I don't know. Kirsten's not big on the dogs. In addition to all the cats.
I mean, fair.
It's a lot. I mean, to be honest, she does all of the stuff. I do all of the like come here, and she does all of the like litter scooping. So I understand how she's like, oh no, we're not actually gonna throw a dog into this mix too. I get it.
This question is from Emily. My friends and I love the game Would You Rather. Give us your best Would You Rather.
Okay. Would you rather? Oh my God.
I know you're doing the Fuck, Marry, Kills on Twitter.
Oh, should I do one of those? Okay. Well, first I'm going to do a would you rather. Would you rather never be able to taste anything again? Or I was going to say smell, but those are too close. Would you rather never be able to taste, or I don't know, that's a bad one. Okay. Would you rather have terrible like skin, like some sort of scaly skin, pussy skin situation, or no teeth?
Ooh. With the opportunity though to treat as you or
no,
just
you have to have them forever. No teeth, or like Freddy Krueger skin.
I would have to say the Freddy Krueger skin then. Still
really, because I would choose no teeth. It's so, I mean, that's a good game because it's so funny. Like,
we're getting a mix in the comments.
I would choose no teeth. No teeth.
Sam, why do all of your book covers feature cute, fuzzy animals?
Well, here's the publishing secret. Doesn't matter how successful you are, or at least I am, or what you say or do. Many people at the top, their opinions count and yours does not. So the first cover that they sent me for We're Never Meeting in Real Life had like, I don't know, it was like, it had like an emoji and some other, the like side eye emoji, and then they had put my like green glasses, because I had those green glasses at the time, on it, and I was like, oh no, like I'm not a child, like, you know. And then they were like, oh well, we'll show you, and they sent the cover with the kitten on it, and my agent was like, you don't get like 6 cover tries, this is gonna be it. And I was like, okay. Then, I mean, so there's like the artist and the art director, and then there's like editors and publishers and directors. There are all these people who weigh in before they send it to you as the author. And as the author, you have to just be like, okay. And so we did it. I didn't know like how it was gonna do. And honestly, that's why they have marketing people and people who know what the public wants. And that's why I defer to all them. I was like, if you guys say this like weird wet cat is what it is, then great. So that book came out. It did well. They obviously were thinking about Instagram, got Instagrammed all over the place. And then when they bought Meade from my old publisher, the original cover has like a kind of like wild looking chicken on it. And so they were like, well, we want to do a cover in the same style. And I was like, okay, cool. And then they sent me one with kind of like a scowling chicken that I loved, like a baby chick. And I really loved it. And then they were like, well, we want to get away from the imagery of the old version. So then they sent me the one with the scowling hedgehog. And I was like, again, okay. So for this one, I was really rallying for a hissing possum. Like, I think when we sold this book, it wasn't like written in the contract, but I was like, okay, can we put like a hissing, garbage eating possum on the cover? And that, they're like, yeah, sure, of course. So then, I do the book, however, 2 years or however long it took me, probably 3. And the cover came, it was time to like decide on a cover. And so I get a message from my editor that's like, well, the possum is like, no, that's gross. Like, we're not doing that. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, no, we're not doing it. And then I'm like, well, fine, send me whatever. So they sent the bunny and they sent a pug puppy, which I sent Mary.
I know.
She has her pug. Oh, busy right there. This is gonna be great.
Okay, say hello very quickly.
Hi, Biz.
This could be your next cover, Sam.
Yes. I don't know how much you'll charge to license her image, but
we'll pay you.
Great. So yeah, they sent the bunny and the puppy, and they were in different, and the puppy looked too happy. I was like, if all of our animals kind of look gross and like shit, I don't want to have a cute puppy. People will be like, what's wrong with Sam? So the bunny like looked fat and grumpy, which is like, my brand. So we went with that. So that was a very long way of saying I didn't pick it. I mean, the experts did, and they obviously know what they're doing because
doing something really right.
I mean, I was worried at first. I was like, oh. So when the old Meade came out, somebody sent me a picture on Instagram of, it was at their library. This person was a librarian, and she sent me a picture where someone had taken like a comment card and like written and stuck it in my book and was like, this is disgusting. I thought it was about urban farming. And first of all, I was like, bitch, flip the fucking shit over. Read the book. What are you doing? So I was like, are people going to see this kitten and think like it's for children or whatever? Are they going to be embarrassed to have this cat book? But then like people weren't. And so far as I know, no children were scarred in reading it. So then we kept it going. Well, and I mean, I don't want to say for next time because I haven't sold a new book yet. But if I do another one, now we'll have to see what this one will be. Maybe they'll let me do the possum. If not, busy.
As long as she's still in the consideration pool.
I will use her photo as my author photo.
Sam, thank you. It has been such a fun night. We have a final question from the co-sponsor of tonight's event,
Yes.
which is Girls Night In. Hi.
Hi there. How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for letting us be a part of this. I've been grinning from ear to ear for about an hour now, which is a beautiful thing at a time like this.
Good. Good. Makes me happy.
Can you all still see me? There we go.
Yeah.
So the question that we have from Girls Night In is, you wrote a great essay on how tough it is to make friends in adulthood. And so I've got kind of two questions on that front. What have you learned about friendship and connection during this weird moment while we're all in quarantine? What maybe have you learned that's different than when you wrote the book? And also, I think a lot of people in the audience here probably are in a book club or find a lot of their friends or connection or sense of community through book clubs. So I'm wondering, for both of you, what your ideal book club setup looks like. Like, what type of book are you reading? What are you snacking on? Have you prepared questions in advance? That type of thing.
Okay. So what I've learned about friendship, I think, I don't know if it's something I've learned or something that's become amplified, but I will say that this time has kind of reaffirmed for me that the connections you make online with people you've never met are real, and it's like very easy to discount. Like, it's like, oh, you don't really know them. You've never seen them. They could walk past you on the street. Well, true. Someone could walk past me on the street who I talk to every day on Twitter and I might not recognize them, but it doesn't mean that like the bond you've built with people over the internet isn't like real and valid. And I think being home where you're forced to like not see the people who even like live next door to you, not only like that, but you also are like, well, I may as well FaceTime with that one person who whose Instagram I comment on or whatever. And it's like real. It's like, that's your friend and you do care about them. And so that's what I've learned. Maris, what about you?
I mean, yeah, that it's I feel like in quarantine right now, it's pretty easier than ever almost to show up for someone, if sending a text, checking in, and it really matters. It counts. It feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And as for book clubs, so we have a book club here. It's so fun, and we usually host it at our house. The snack situation, I like a lot of dips. if I could just like only have hot dips, even cold, if I could just be dipping, like scooping, fatty, cheesy things onto some sort of vehicle and shoveling it into my mouth, that would be it. So cookies and dips. And as for the book, so the people in our book club are like smart and like they like to pick a lot of like, literary things. Like our book club is reading the new Jenny Offel this month. I would like if we read a little more like soapy trash, only because I like a gossipy vibe. And when we read like super, super smart books, my vibe is always like, I didn't get the symbolism of that. Oh, that's what that meant? Oh, what was the ending supposed to be? Like, that's what happens to me. And I wish we could read like things that are less smart. So, what about you, Maris? Are you in a book club?
I am not in a book club mostly because like, imagine when you were reading from Marie Claire being in a book club too. It's just, it makes, but.
Oh yeah, your job is to read books. So.
I just read Curtis Sittenfeld's new book, Rodham. And the way I described it is your book club will get in a fist fight because people are going to be so mad about it in so many different ways, in a delightful way. And so I would say in a month from now, we can all get into a fight and throw one at each other at our book clubs.
Okay. Yeah. Can I ask like a selfish question, Maris, since you read so much? What's your reading setup, and how do you just read whole books at a time? Do you read multiple books? I'm very curious.
Multiple, and a new thing about this phase in time is that I really rejected reading digitally for a long time, and now that's what we've got. So I have an iPad. I do the whole thing. I try to make it as pleasant as possible because I hate it, and I'm doing okay.
Okay, yeah, good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone who was watching. I hope you guys are all doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and read all the books we talked about and my book too.
Thank you guys so much. This was the best Saturday / virtual independent bookstore day / DC small business Saturday that I could have ever hoped for. I have put the recommendations, Sam's book recommendations, in the chat, and I'll add these last two that they just gave, so you guys can go back to it. And I want to share the results of our very, very serious poll. So we asked you guys, in this freeing time of growth, learning, and self-betterment, how are you finding harmony in each new blessed day? And I would like for all three of you guys to answer. So A is standing at the open refrigerator eating a sheet cake with my hands. B is telling my partner how much I hate the way they breathe. C is trying to make eye contact with my cat who hates me now. And D is there is peanut butter in my hair. And if it's all four, because for me it kind of is, I think that's okay.
Yeah, I think I'm a combination of all of them. Kirsten and I just had a tell me what gets on your nerves about me download last night, and it was great.
Nice.
Her list was very long.
Maris, yours.
I am not a parent, but I'm going to say D, there is peanut butter in my hair, because there probably is.
Okay. Tyler?
I'm going to say the refrigerator one. I made a rule for myself this week that if I walk to the fridge, I have to drink a glass of water. So
nice.
That's
very healthy.
The most popular answer was standing at the open refrigerator eating sheet cake with my hands, and I respect all of you so much more for it. I think we can all feel that right now. And then finally, I want to reveal the winner of the giveaway of the Elaine Welteroth tickets. So drum roll, please. The person with the most upvoted question was the one about why Sam has so many fluffy, cute animals on the cover, and that is Stephanie Gustafson. So Stephanie, I will be reaching out to you to get your email so I can register you, and I'll get your friends. And if you guys want to go to the Elaine Welteroth event, tickets are still on sale at Politics and Prose. Y'all, this was amazing.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you. I would talk to any and all of you anytime.
Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Let's hang out.
Okay, great.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to Girls Night In for partnering with us. Maris, Sam, you're amazing as always. And everyone, even though you already have a copy of the book, go buy another one. Your friend needs it. Your mom needs it.
Oh, yeah.
Your DoorDash delivery driver needs it. I know mine has been working overtime, so pay them back.
Oh, man. This is so nice. Thank you.
All right. Have a great night, everyone. Happy Saturday.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.